All right, welcome everyone. Today we're going to tackle one of the most crucial, high-scoring topics for your exams, rights in the Indian Constitution. Let's dive right in.
And just so you know, this whole explainer is brought to you by A1 Institute. They're your dedicated partner in making sure you absolutely nail your exams. Think about this for a second. Can you imagine someone being locked up for 54 years without ever getting a trial? It sounds like something from a movie, right? But this actually happened. It's the shocking true story of a man named Machal Lalung. And it's a powerful, powerful reminder that constitutional rights aren't just words in a textbook. They are a critical shield for every single one of us.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. First, we'll see why rights are so essential. Then we'll talk about this thing called the Bill of Rights. It's kind of like a warranty card. After that, we'll get into India's own fundamental rights, cover the 6 big ones, and then really zoom in on the right to equality. The whole point? To get you totally prepped for your exams. So let's kick things off. Instead of just jumping into dry theory, I want to start with some powerful real-life stories, because these show exactly why constitutional rights aren't just some abstract idea. They're incredibly important protections for every single person. All right, let's look at a couple of cases straight from your textbook. First, you've got the Asian Games back in 1982. The workers hired to build the stadiums, they were kept in terrible conditions and paid way less than the minimum wage. That's a classic violation of the right against exploitation. And then there's the story of Machal Lalung we just talked about. 54 years in custody without a hearing? That is just a tragic violation of the right to life and liberty. These examples really hit home what happens when rights are just on paper but aren't actually protected. So you have to ask, right? How does the Constitution actually stop these horrible things from happening? Well, the answer lies in a special tool that most democracies have. It's called a Bill of Rights. Okay, listen up, because this is a core definition you absolutely need for your exams. A Bill of Rights isn't just some random list. Its job is to act like a shield. It literally stops the government from stepping on your rights. And this is the most important part. It gives you a remedy, a way to legally fight back if someone tries to violate those rights. That's huge. And here's a great way to remember this for the exam. Just think of the Bill of Rights like a warranty card. You know, when you buy a TV, you get a card that says it's guaranteed to work. Well, the Constitution gives you this warranty card for your rights. It's a promise that they'll work as intended. And if they don't, you can get them fixed. Okay, that's the general idea. But now let's get specific to India. See, our Constitution has its own special name for its Bill of Rights. And knowing this little detail, well, it's the kind of thing that separates a good answer from a great one. So in India, these protected rights are called fundamental rights. And that word, fundamental, is key. You should probably highlight that in your notes. It's not just a label. It tells you that these rights are so important, so basic, that they're literally the foundation of our entire democracy. Okay, this next slide, this is pure gold for your exams. I promise you. The difference between an ordinary legal right and a fundamental right is a classic question. The main thing to remember is that fundamental rights are on another level. They're protected by the Constitution itself, not just some regular law. That means the government can't just change them whenever it feels like it. It takes a whole constitutional amendment, which is a really, really big deal. All right, now we're getting to the heart of it. This is the core list you absolutely have to memorize. Think of them as the 6 pillars of freedom, the 6 main categories of fundamental rights that the Indian Constitution guarantees. So here they are, coming right out of Part 3 of the Constitution. Let's walk through them one by one, because this is the framework for everything. Ready? Number 1, the right to equality. Number 2, the right to freedom. 3, the right against exploitation. 4, the right to freedom of religion. 5 is cultural and educational rights. And finally, number 6, and this one's the real powerhouse, the right to constitutional remedies. That's the one that makes sure all the other rights are protected. You've got to commit these 6 to memory. Okay, so just listing them is one thing. But to really get how they work in the real world, we need to zoom in a bit. Let's start with the very first one, which you could argue is the most important of all, the right to equality. Now, the right to equality isn't just one single thing. It's actually a whole package of rules all working towards the same goal, making society truly equal. It does things like guarantee equality before the law. It prohibits discrimination based on religion, race, caste, you name it. It also ensures everyone has equal access to public places like shops and hotels, and it officially abolishes practices like untouchability and fancy titles. It's all about leveling that playing field. So what's the big takeaway here? The most important thing to remember is that the right to equality isn't passive. It's an active force. It's not just saying, oh, everyone's the same. It's actively working to tear down the walls of discrimination that have existed for centuries, to make sure every single citizen can live with dignity. And there you have it. That really covers the essential foundations of fundamental rights. If you can get your head around these core ideas, you've got a fantastic starting point and a solid framework for your exams. So we've laid the groundwork here. But if you want to dive deeper into each one of these rights and really truly master this chapter for a top score, you should connect with A1 Institute. They've got expert notes and amazing teaching methods that'll guide you the rest of the way.
Hey, if this explainer helped you out, do me a favor and hit that like button, share it with your friends, and drop a comment below. And definitely make sure you subscribe to the A1 Institute YouTube channel so you don't miss out on more content like this. If you're interested in admissions, notes, or some one-on-one guidance, just reach out to them directly. Thanks so much for tuning in and stay tuned, because we've got the next part of this chapter coming up soon.